Hey everyone, I am so excited to be here. I want to thank everyone at Sunrider for allowing me to take this time to share some wisdom, hopefully some mental fuel, so you're fired up and you could take this and use this not only in your business, but in your life. So I'm Darlene Santor. Most know me as Coach Dar. And I think most don't even know that my name's Darlene. I work in sports and business, and I've had the pleasure to be able to speak on mindset around the world and share with people that you can do anything you put your mind to. Usually I come with a little brain model, but because I studied the brain and I hold it up. So imagine I have this brain model in my hand, but I'll often say that your brain, so here, will propel you forward or pull you back based on what you fill it with. So if you fill your mind with everything every single day that's going to propel you forward, that gives you fuel, you will have that strength. But if you fill it with things that decreases your strength, you will be pulled backwards. So today, my goal is to fill your mind with little nuggets that are going to help you, fuel you to keep propelling you forward. I feel like you're going to have like this little Coach Dar in your ear after this that's going to be like, oh, Coach Dar said this, or, oh, maybe I should do this. And that's my goal, that I stay with you even after this talk. So again, thank you everyone at Sunrider for allowing me to take this time to pour into you, because I hope when we're done too, you leave a little bit better than you came. You have a little bit more light, you have a little bit more energy, and you have more confidence in yourself. So I put together 5 points, and I have some bonus rounds points if we have time that I'm going to share with you. But 5 points on building resilience, having this mindset to go forward, and having the confidence to take your business and your life to new heights. Before I start those points, I just want us to get to know each other. I want to share a little bit about why I'm so passionate being here with you. I'm passionate because I started out my career, I'm an occupational therapist, and I started out in traumatic brain injury. So the unit I worked on, I had patients anywhere from 3 months to a year. And they were some of the most severe patients just like you or I, people that were out and about, going about their day, and something changed their whole world. And they were now in the hospital recovering from a brain injury and spinal cord injury often too. And they were told that they would possibly never get back to who they were before. But when I had the patients that I had, I would go up to them and I'd say to their family, and like sometimes my patients started in coma and we got them to a new normal, but I would say to the patient or the family and say, never give up hope, because hope stands for hold on, pain ends, that you can get through anything you put your mind to. And so I would go in, and I didn't know at the time, being their therapist, that I was their therapist, their coach, their motivator, their counselor. I was everything all in one, trying to get people to go forward. And that propelled me for everything that I do today. And it propelled me to even help in my own life. I needed the things that I actually teach to apply in my own life, because it helped me and it could help you. So there I was, taking care of patients. And I was married at the time, and we were about to start a family. I come from an Italian family, so if you know anything about Italian families, like, you should have kids right away. And they wanted a big family. And I was excited to start a family. So remember, this is about resiliency. So I got put to the test real quick. At 25, I went to go see a doctor. I had hurt my back, so I went to go see a chiropractor. And I went to go see the chiropractor. They manipulated my neck, actually over here. And when they manipulated my neck, they actually ripped the vertebral artery in my brain, and I was bleeding. And I had no idea that I was bleeding. And I suffered a stroke. I had a blood clot in my brain. And they told me that if this blood clot dislodged, I could die any day. So it was good news, bad news by the time they found it. Scar tissue started to form around it. But the bad news was that this could dislodge any day and I could lose my life. So they said, don't do things like, don't cough too hard, don't run too much, don't do anything that's going to push your blood pressure, which also meant not starting a family. So I had to learn at an early age how to shift my whole mindset in my life, because what I thought was one trajectory ended up being a different one. But what I want to share with you is it didn't take me off course of my purpose, because my purpose was still to serve people. My purpose was still to awaken greatness. And I'll get to you that's my mission. But my purpose didn't change, just how I physically showed up maybe, and how I had to handle things did. But you could overcome any odds. And don't you find that interesting, that there were the patients that I was taking care of that had to overcome the most extreme odds, and then this happened to me? I kind of was like, okay, I know I'm helping these people, but did I really have to go through exactly what they did? And I did. But it gave me this depth of compassion and understanding to know what it really means to fight through adversity. And by the way, that first stroke was my first. I've had 3. Actually, today is the 3-year anniversary of my 3rd stroke. And I think it's funny that here I am giving a speech to you, and that stroke just 3 years ago took away my speech, my balance, my fine motor. And so I'm just a testament to share with you that if you really work hard every day on making sure you fuel your mindset with the right things and you get connected to your purpose and you align with that, you could overcome anything. Because right now, whatever has been the hardest thing in your life, whatever that is, if you're sitting here and you're on the other side of it, just remember, you're on the other side of it. You got over that challenge, and you'll get over the next challenge, and you'll get over the challenge that maybe you're in right now. You just have to be willing to get up, stay in the fight, and keep going every day. The same goes for your business. Your business is going to have some really great days and some really great years. And then there's going to be some challenging ones. I've had that. I've been a therapist for 25 years, and I've been in private practice, let's just say 12 to 13 years. I'm not very good at math. But in saying that, I've had some really good years and I had some really tough years. But it was the support of good people around me. It was filling myself with the mental fuel that I needed to keep going. And so I feel very honored that I get this chance to speak with you today, because I have life to speak with you today. And I don't take this lightly. I don't take this lightly that I'm here with you to share a message, that I get to use my gift to pour into you. So hopefully you leave better than how we started. And I'm honored to be able to be here. And I hope that that's how you feel every day when you wake up, that you feel like it's truly a gift. Because when you do, when you feel blessed, you can't be stressed. And when you have gratitude, it helps you be grateful and move forward. So keep that in your mind. And like I said in the beginning too, the things that I work on and the things that I do are the absolute things that got me through 3 strokes, multiple adversity, lost my best friend, which was my mom a year and a half ago. And there's been multiple things that I've had to help myself and others through. But I'm here smiling, healthy, because I continue to fight and I continue to stay in it. And I hope that you continue to keep going. And I hope that you understand that there are great heights that you could get to ahead of you, but you have to do the work, you have to show up, and you have to commit to yourself, because commitment and consistency is what gets you there. You don't want to dabble in something, you want to be all in. And with that, let's go all in on these 5 points. And in order to do that, I want to start by opening up your mindset. I started in the beginning talking about the brain, and then the brain has been the study for me. And I help people go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So in order for me to help you stay open to the 5 points I'm going to talk about, I want to share a little example with you. Fixed mindset is when you are constantly in a mindset of, no, that's not possible. Oh, I already have done that way. Oh, you can't do that. And you let fear take over. You let pessimism take over. You let skeptical mindset take over. And so you stay in this mindset assuming nothing's going to get better and why should I do it? If you do that, you will limit yourself and you'll always stay where you are and never go further. And life is not intended to stay here. Life is intended to be in a growth trajectory. And you want to be able to go forward, right? A growth mindset is, wow, I've never heard it from that viewpoint before. Let me hear more. Gee, I've never tried that. Let's try it. Boy, I'm open to that. And someone once said they were invited to the orchestra, to the symphony, to hear this amazing orchestra. And they personally don't like the symphony, but their friend was so passionate about it that they went. And you know why they went? Because they are in a growth mindset. They went so that when they left that experience, it didn't necessarily make him love the symphony or the orchestra more, but he was now aware of why his friend appreciated that one. So then when he spoke about it, he appreciated it. A growth mindset is someone that they are willing to step in and say, let me feel, hear, and experience what you're saying. And again, it doesn't mean you agree with everything, but you are open to be able to hear what's going on and feel it. So then you could actually lead and come into it with a better mindset. That is far better than a fixed mindset. And by the way, people love being around people who have a growth mindset because they're open, they have energy, they're willing to hear. And you know why our world hurts often? Because people they don't feel like they're seen or heard. So be the leader in your business and be the leader in life and for your family that's in a growth mindset, that stays open to things, not fixed. So here's an example that I use when I used to teach a neuro class. And I want to show this picture to you. I want you to take a look at this picture that's going to come up. And when you look at this picture, I want you to ask yourself, what do you see? What do you actually see visually? What colors do you see? What's the shape look like to you? What are you trying to do right now? You're trying to decipher in your mind, what is this? Now I'm going to tell you what it is. So when you go to this and you look at it, this actually is a cow. Some of you may have said, I often hear turtle. I hear different parts of a map. When you look at this too, you see it's black, white, gray, shades in it. But this image is actually of a cow. Here's one ear, here's another ear, and here's its nose. Here's the tip of its nose and its two eyes. So ears, its nose, the tip of its nose, and eyes. This is a cow. And the reason I show that picture is because you are trying to figure it out. Your vision, what you see color-wise, you might see something in color, but perception is the meaning you put to something. So visually you saw black, white, gray, right? But perceptually, your brain was automatically trying to put meaning. What is this? And you were thinking all different things. But then when I told you the cow, you saw the cow. And now anytime you see that picture, you'll always see a cow. Because now I planted it in your mind. You're like, oh, that's a cow. So here's the good and the bad about this if you don't cleanse your mind every day, like we do our body. If you are taking some bad experience and you apply that to everything, you're seeing it from that lens. And so mentally, I ask people to stay in a growth mindset that you have to detox every day. So let me put this as a visual to you in an animal form before I go to person. When people hear the word pit bull, or if I put up an image of a pit bull, you'd go, oh, pit bulls are bad. Those are bad dogs. They're not good. Well, guess what? Not all pit bulls are bad. How they're raised takes a part of it, how they're nurtured, how they're cared for. They could be amazing dogs. I speak funny, by the way. I come from the East Coast. But dogs, D-O-G, not D-A-W-G. But they're amazing dogs. They're amazing animals. And so you have to mentally say when you see that dog, not go to, oh, that's bad. And then, by the way, teach other people that's a bad dog. Because now you're putting that stereotype on all dogs, right? Now let's project that a little bit further. Let's take someone that you've been hurt by. Say they had red hair and you were hurt by someone who has red hair. And now all of a sudden they come onto your team or you're trying to bring someone into the business and you're like, I just don't feel good about them. And they're like, why? We love this person. You're like, I don't feel good. And you're going, my gut says that. Hold up. I'm teaching you something about fixed to growth mindset. There's a difference between discernment and emotional triggers. Okay. Discernment is true cleanse. You're not holding any emotion on something. An emotional trigger is you see something, smell something, see something, and you're like, oh, that's not good. That's coming from something that you still have to work on. So you want to make sure that you're always staying open because you never want to limit a type of person based on their color, their faith, where they come from, how they look, and you never want to just look at someone, how they look and just assume a stereotype because that hurts and that puts people in a box. So in order for you to be open, in order for you to grow your business, in order to go forward, you want to be in a growth mindset, which means every day really work on cleansing how you see things. Take the shade off and look at people and lean in, because when you lean in, you will have a much bigger business because people will feel like you see, hear, and connect to them. And that's how you'll go further. We need more leaders like that who love people and lead them up through compassion and love. And then I love people with love and compassion. And then I give them a little dose of Dar and I'm like, let's go. I take them into greatness. So let's do that. Let me take you into greatness now in the resilient mindset and talk about the 5 points. The first point I want to talk to you about now that we're in a growth mindset and you're open. And let me preface this too. Don't just assume you've heard everything I'm about to say. Hear it with a different lens, okay? And ear. The first point you want to write down is why power over willpower. In order to be resilient, in order to reach greatness, in order to go forward and really thrive in your business and life, you have to wake up every day with why power over willpower. What's that mean? Well, it means that you have to wake up with a purpose, a why. And you might have heard this before, but you're like, I don't understand what to do with that. Why power is why you wake up. In the military, when a soldier is met, they'll say, soldier, what is your mission? And if that soldier can't answer, that's life or death. I take it this serious that you have to wake up with some sort of purpose. You personally, why are you waking up, soldier? Why are you doing this? This is going to give you life. This is what's going to propel you forward. It's going to be like your harness that holds you to your path that you're called to. And what doesn't align with that, you cut away like a sword. My mentor, Lori Beth Jones, had taught me about this, and I loved this image of this. And so why power will help you sustain longer when you think you can't keep going. It's what helped sustain me when I had my strokes. And I thought, how am I going to do this? My why comes down to a mission statement: to motivate, inspire, and awaken greatness in myself and others. And if I boil that down, it's to awaken greatness. Every day, how can I help lead people to greatness? You know what that means? It doesn't matter what my role is. I could still help people with greatness. It doesn't matter if I had a stroke. I could still get up and lead people to greatness. It doesn't matter how much is in my bank account. I could still get up and use my gift to lead people to greatness, right? That's my why. I wake up every day going, how can I help someone feel better about themselves? Make them believe in themselves, lead them to greatness. I'm so excited just speaking to you today about this because this is my why. This is why I got up this morning. Now, versus willpower, if I had to will myself and I did not have a why, and I'm like, I've got to get up, I've got to do this today, I've got to get through the motion of doing this, that is never going to sustain me. I could try to will it all day, but I'm going to lose it, right? I'm going to lose that strength after a while. And it's kind of like, think about exercise. I could go in and be like, I'm going to will myself to just lift this weight. And I'm going to will myself actually to get up every day and to go exercise. Well, there'll be a morning that it's cold or it doesn't feel right. And I'm like, no, I'll hit snooze. But my why is actually why I get up every day and I go exercise, because I've already had 3 strokes. My runway got a little bit shorter for me. So I want to make sure I make the most of every day. And my why is that I still have a purpose here to awaken greatness in others. So that gets me up and that sustains me and gives me strength versus willpower. I make a joke about this too, that if you put chips and guacamole in front of me, it's probably one of my biggest weaknesses. And you're like, don't touch that. And it's in front of me all day. At some point, I'm going to take that chip and guacamole, right? If I'm sustained just on willpower. But my why is, Dar, you've got to make sure you keep your health in check. You need to operate on all cylinders to give you this long runway, at least a chance for it. My why leads me to my decisions. My why gets me up. That's what I want for you. So think about this. Sit down after this and say, what is the core value? What is the thing you want to be known for? So if it's your 100th birthday and everyone's toasting to you and they're toasting to who you are and what you stand for, what's the theme? You know, what is the constant theme? You create the theme that people see and remember you by how you live every day. So I hope if you're all at my 100th birthday, if I get there, which you're all invited, I hope that we get to stand there and you all are sharing that it's about how I helped awaken your greatness. That would put a huge smile on my face. And I want you to think about that. What would that be for you? What would everyone be toasting that you want them to know? This is what I live and die by. This is what I stand on. This is what I fight for every day. This is what I want my kids and my legacy to be known by. This. It's a core value. It's a word. Go look up a core value words, pick one and align it to how it's going to get you to move forward. When you do, I've done this with thousands of people. When you do, you will feel this fuel, this inner fuel, and you will be able to sustain and go forward like never before. That's point number 1. Number 2, be agile. Be emotionally and mentally agile. You know, in life, the people that have the most agility that could move, they're able to bounce back. They're able to go forward. One thing I forgot to share is I coach in sports and business, and I was an NBA team in the United States here as the Phoenix Suns, and I had the privilege to be their mental skills coach, and now I coach in pro sports around all the leagues and top business owners. And one of the things that you always want to see in sports is that a player has this agility, mental and physical agility. But today we're talking about mental agility. Mental agility is when something hard comes, you could mentally pivot on a dime. You're not so fixed that you break. And so think of this in a visual term. Wayne Dyer once said, we want to be like the palm tree. The palm tree is the tree that could bend all the way down and back up in the middle of a storm, and it never breaks. But like a birch tree that's rigid and it's stiff, it will break in a storm eventually. You want your mind, your body, and your spirit to be agile, like the palm tree, that when things come at you, you might bend down, but you'll come back up, right? It's not going to break you. And an emotionally agile person this is the ability too of staying emotionally neutral. What does that mean? It means that you're someone that's not so volatile, that your emotions don't take you all over the place. This does not mean you don't have emotions. This does not mean that you don't feel emotions. It just means that when they come, it's information, it's signaling, it's telling you something, and then you quickly have to decide, is this a trigger that I should respond to, or is this something I should take as information and then learn what to do with it? So great leaders, and I want you to be a leader, they are people that could take information and they can receive it, and then they know how to do what they need to do from it, that their emotions don't take them out of the game. Going back to sports, if my athletes let their emotions take them out of their game, it's a technical and they're out, right? And now we just lost one of our great players because they could not hold it and use it. I say use that for fuel. Use it to propel you forward, not pull you back, not take you out of the game. And I don't want your emotions to take you out of this game of life. We were created to have emotions. We were created to feel. But what you do with those emotions is on you and how you handle it. And I want you to practice the ability to be emotionally neutral. Where you feel it, you can still I'm passionate right now, but I'm harnessing it to you, right? So take your emotions and learn how to use them to fuel you, not hurt you. Because that will help you when you are having discussion with people and you're about to get heated and you want to react, you want to yell. And there's a time where your tone might get a little bit more stern that you need to, but then you could come back and say, now let's talk through this, right? So that's how emotional neutrality helps you. And then emotional agility allows you to pivot, allows you to be able to, when something comes, you could pivot and go, okay, we just went through something tough, but now I know how to, I've experienced it. I know what to do with it. Because when you could pivot, you could go, oh, all right, well, let's see, what are we going to do about it? This, and this. When I had my third stroke, when it came, I have to tell you, I was sitting there in the hospital. I went in, I had a migraine. It was so bad on Monday that by Friday, that's when I went into the hospital, I couldn't take the pain anymore. And I knew something was wrong. It was the worst pain I'd ever felt in my head. And I just remember sitting there when I saw the faces of everyone looking at me and I'm like, yep, this is another stroke right now. And I thought for a moment, like my instinct was to go like, why? And then I thought, well, okay, what am I going to do about this? How am I going to take this and utilize this to go forward? My brain literally went to that after I went through what is going on. But because I'm conditioned to do this, I work on this every day. I would not have had that ability to be so agile and figure out what to do. I literally did all my own rehab after. And I got myself up and I put myself back in the game, practicing the things that I do. But I had to stay agile. I mean, there'd be days I'm going to grab something, my hands didn't work, and I'm in the middle of doing work, and then I would drop something and it'd shatter and spill everywhere. And someone would be like, oh my gosh, this is awful. Make that little thing like it's a catastrophe of their whole day. But when you're emotionally agile and you create and you work on emotional neutrality, you're like, I kind of was like, oh, geez, like, okay, here we go. Let's just clean this up and then move on. I didn't let something little, a pebble, become a mountain in my day, right? You learn to pivot. You learn to just go, okay, what am I going to do about this? When you could practice agility and neutrality and make it something that helps you, you will be an exceptional leader and you will inspire other people because they're going to go, how do you do this? Well, it's practice. You have to practice this. So I'm putting it on you to be agile, to learn how to pivot and practice emotional neutrality. The greatest place to practice is in your own home because those are the people that trigger you the most, where you want to react or respond. But take it, figure out what to do with it, and then practice giving it back in a response way, not a reaction. And you'll go further, faster, and people will want to join you on this journey. Stay agile. I want to make sure that I didn't leave anything out on that. No. Okay, point number 3. The power of perspective and reframing. So we're building your greatness. We're building you to be resilient. We're building you to stay in this game as long as you can, because I don't want anyone giving up. It's just not a choice. I want you to be so strong mentally. It's not that you don't have bad days, but you could bounce back faster. So we have Y power. We're going to be agile. We're going to stay neutral in that. So agility and neutrality, right? And the third point is the power of perspective and reframing. The power of perspective and reframing is so important. When you go through tough times, you have to say, okay, this is a bad day, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad life. Or when I'm working with some players, if they have a bad game, the bad game doesn't mean that they're bad at what they do. I had a player that came off the ice and he's like, did you see my game? I was horrible. This is horrible. I shouldn't even be here. I can't believe how bad that game is. And I said, hold up, you get about 2 more minutes of this and then we're reframing it. And he goes, oh, because I talked about reframing. I go, how are we going to reframe this now? I said, a bad game doesn't mean that you're a bad player or this is going to be a bad life. I said, you're one of the 1%. You're in the pros. Do you really think you're that bad? He's like, no. I said, are we entitled to have bad games? We're not perfectionists here. We're not going to be perfect all the time. I said, now what are you going to do about it? So this bad game does not mean bad player. It just means we're going to reframe it to say, the game was bad. I'm not bad. Do you see the difference there? That game was not good, but I'm not bad. So you have to tell your mind what is truth and what is false. Oftentimes what comes to our head when we feel emotions or we go through something is this perspective that we take and we make it way bigger than it is. And that sometimes creates some false thoughts. I want you to sit on a piece of paper when you ever get so upset and you're creating this negative self-talk about why you can't do something or maybe why you're not good or not good enough or what's going on in your life that it's all bad. I want you to sit down, grab a piece of paper, and I want you to write those thoughts that you're saying, those negative thoughts, and they come. And then I want you to write on the other side of the paper, and I want you to write what is truth. So the example of the player is the game was not good, but I'm still good, okay? My day didn't go well, but doesn't mean that my life is not bad. It doesn't mean that my life's bad. I still have all the gifts and the talents that I need to keep going forward. So you have the false statement and the truth statement, and you rewrite and you reframe how you see it. When you do this, it is like gold, right? So when I had my 3rd stroke, they said a 4th stroke is probable. I said, well, it could be. I said, but right now I have life. Right now I'm getting better. Right now I'm focused on what I do have, not what I don't have, right? So what do you have? Right now, your life, I'm sure, is very blessed, but it doesn't mean it's void of challenges, but you have to focus on what is going well, not what's going bad. What you have, not what you lack. When you do this and you reframe it, it shifts everything. And I had a mentor that lived through the Holocaust. She's now in her 80s. She was a young child then. And she is my strength. And she helped really teach this point to me because she sat there on a concrete floor, freezing, didn't know when she was getting food. And she said, I would get up every day and I would just think, someday I'm going to be out of this. And someday I'm going to be able to be in New York. And that's where she wanted to live. She wanted to be in New York and she's going to work on Broadway. And she was a natural born dancer. And she just had to have that why of why she was going to sustain this. And she had to say, you know what? This is really, really bad right now. What's going on. And she did lose some of her family, her extended family, but she didn't lose her immediate family. She's like, but today I still have my family, my immediate family. I still have family and I'm still here, which meant she could still fight the fight. She reframed the most horrific time to keep her fueled, to keep going. I can't even imagine, but I understand the power of perspective and reframing. So when you go through tough times or you're having that negative self-talk come into your mind, I really want you to practice reframing and saying, okay, well, this is what's going on. What can we do about it? How are we going to shift it? And how are we going to view it? Because if you view it with a possible solution rather than a problem that's going to hold you back forever, you will have more power in having the solution mindset than always being in the problem victim mindset, right? You're the victor, not the victim. And the victor sees a way forward. The victor sees it and the ability to say, my business can thrive. This person might have said no to the business, but there's 7.9 billion people in the world. Don't you think you could find someone else that you could tell and give this opportunity to? Heck yeah, you can. By the way, if something doesn't work out in a relationship, there's 7.9 billion people in the world. You're going to find someone. You know, when a job change happens, there's a lot of opportunity in this world. You're going to find another job. You know why you are? Because you're going to walk in with a positive mindset, bringing your strength with you. You still have your why. And when everything feels stripped away from you, hear this. Your gifts and your ability and your knowledge is not stripped away. And if you have that, you have power to go forward. Do you hear that? You have power to go forward. A lot of things were stripped away from us over this past time that we've been through. But your gift, your talent, your ability, you're still here means you still have purpose. So you can get up and you can keep going. A lot of things have been stripped away from a lot of people, but they found their way up because they're the fighters, and so are you. So when you think that this business can't go forward anymore, or it can't grow, or there's not an opportunity, or something's hard in your life, reframe it and understand and shift the perspective that there is a world of opportunity and it's full of abundance. It's just how you choose to see it. So see it with possibility, not as a problem. Point number 4, raise the bar. Okay, in order to have this resilient mindset and be the leader that you want to be the person that raises the bar. What does that mean? It means that you now are this person that carries a standard and hold yourself up here, not here. Because when you hold yourself to a standard, you help elevate other people that want to show up, that want to be able to be at that standard with you. You know, we often hear about when Kobe Bryant was on the team, everyone just rose to his standard. He was like, we are going to practice and we are going to show up. And he was exceptional at that. LeBron James, when you're around LeBron James, you just know when you walk in, you better rise up. Same with, I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona, the Phoenix Suns. We have a great team and a great coach that has set a new standard, and they are winning now because they understand the culture and where they're going. So when you do that, people just know when they're around you, like, wow, they hold the bar up here. I can't come in and give the effort of a 5-level effort. I have to give a 10-level effort. So I want to say to you, what kind of person are you when you walk in the room? Are you a 5-level player or a 10-level player? Because a 5-level player is just going to give okay effort. But a 10-level player is going to hold themselves up here, and they're going to expect everyone to rise up with them because they want to win. They want to win at what they're doing. They don't want to accept average. They want to accept awesome. And that's what you want. You want to be that person when you walk in. Do you lift people up, or do you bring them down with your words and your actions and your body language? You don't want to be the person when you walk in the room, they're like, oh my gosh, so-and-so is here. Like, I'm sick to my stomach. What? People don't want to be around a leader like that. But they want to be around a leader. When you walk in, you're like, heck yeah, so-and-so just walked in. You know, Shannon just walked in. We're winning today. Patrick's just walked in. We're winning today. You know why they say that? Because they see how they carry themselves every day, and they're like, I want to align with that person. You be that kind of person, I promise your team will grow, because they're going to see that this is the standard we go to. We don't give 5 effort. We give 10 effort. And let me clarify this. This does not mean perfectionism. This just means we are committed to progress. That every day I work so hard on saying, Dar, how can I get better today? How can I give 1% more to get better? Because that's 365 at the end of the year. Then rather than trying to be perfect, going for perfectionism and then quitting because I'm so upset. So you have to have that same accountability to yourself, because okay is not okay. Would you want a surgeon coming in and being like, yeah, I'm okay working on you? I'd be like, hell no, I want the best. So why do you expect that standard for that surgeon, but not for you, what you do right now? You better expect from yourself to be the best, because you wouldn't want anything less from someone else working on you, with you, around you. You go to a restaurant, you don't want an okay experience. You want a great experience. You're taking the time, the money to have this. You want it to be above average. You want it to be great. Well, have that same standard for you, that you want greatness in your life, that you're the person that's going to have created a great experience and hold people to a standard that helps them then believe in themselves that they could achieve anything they put their mind to. Because you know what greatness is? Greatness is not necessarily all the accolades. Greatness is a person that goes after what they feel compelled to, and they inspire other people to reach greatness. That's what true greatness is. It's a ripple effect of how you lived your life. Greatness is something that is felt. It's an energy. And raising the bar is about being that person that raises the standard, raises the bar, and raises other people around you by how you live. It's your words and your actions. So be great and raise the bar. The 5th point that I have here is be one, pick one, and get out there and be the one. So why do I say that? Here we are at close, coming to an end of this, and I want you to be inspired that in order to be great, you really want to hone in on what you want to be great at. When I became a therapist and I started working on mindset, I started to realize really quick that my specialty was in picking this lane that I am in the peak performance lane. I help people raise the bar. I help them raise their standard. And it's all around their mindset. So I stay in my lane and I work at this, obviously, for 25 years, becoming an expert in it. But I picked something, I honed it, I learned it, and then I went after it. And you know what that means? When I started, it wasn't perfect. There's this thing about go ugly early. When you start something, your first speech, your first pitch, your first encounter, your first opportunity, it's not always the best, but after you stay after it and you keep the momentum going, you get momentum, you get confidence. You're like, oh, I know how to do this now. And you get your swagger back, right? You start showing up, you're like, okay, I got this. And it took you picking something, owning it, and then taking it out there to the world. So in this business right now, pick a product, pick a theme, pick something that you want to own, learn it, become good at what you know about it, become the expert, and then share it to the world. Because the people that have inspired us in this life, they picked a lane, they picked something, they worked at it, and then they became the one to inspire other people on it. They didn't try to be all things to all people, right? They became specialists at something. Even the type of therapist and coach that I am, I'm not the person that's going to be able to help you, create a financial business strategy. I know enough about it, but that's not my expertise. So I don't want to limit someone by trying to be something that I'm not. And then that's going to take away my confidence because I'm not going to give everything that I have. It's not in my gifts and my talents, right? But if now I could help someone on their mindset, their mental edge, their how they're going to show up at the game, where they're going to project their life to, how they're going to reach greatness, I'm in all day. Put me in, coach. I'm here, right? That's how you start to work and build that confidence. So for you, be the one, pick something, be the person then that takes that message out to the world. Don't hide yourself away. You have a gift. You're needed in this world, but it takes you having the courage to choose today that you're going to make the decision to be that great leader out there that's going to inspire someone else because you chose to get up today. You chose to make this decision to be a part of this business, to create a new opportunity for someone else because you believe in it. So if you believe in it, pick something, own it, and then go be the one that inspires others. And I'll close with these last few sentences, is that right now, as you listen to this, you don't have to do this. You don't have to be in this. You get to. John Gordon said that. We don't have to do these things. We get to do these things. What a blessing. So as you go to reach your greatness and days get hard, remember, you get to, you don't have to. And when you understand that, you're going to go, I don't have to do this, but I get to do this. What a blessing. What a blessing that you have the ability to get up and share an opportunity with others, that you have the blessing to be able to just take your gifts, your talents, your personality, who you are, and share this with people. You get to do this. And I'm so grateful that I get to do this with you today and share these points with you. So I hope that you take this, use it as mental fuel to go forward, because greatness is about paying it forward. Greatness is about rising others up, and it's about creating a story and a legacy so that everyone has something that they could be inspired by and follow. And everyone has the chance to be able to make a 30 for 30. In sports, it's a 30 for 30 show. It's the making of something great. And you're the making of something great right now. Your story is going to be told when you leave this earth. What's the story that's going to be told? Make it something great. And I hope that when we watch back your story, we're all inspired to be better. Thank you so much, Sunrider. It's been an honor to be here with you today. I hope that you're leaving better than when you started. And it's been my greatest honor to be here. Thank you.